Hello YouTube and welcome back once again to the channel. It's Redeemer. In today's tutorial we want to work on a very simple social media artwork. Alright, so the very next thing we are going to do, remember, anytime you want to work on a design you need to create a new document. Okay, so in doing that we use the shortcut Ctrl N, or possibly go to file right here, okay, and click on new. Remember, there are so many steps in creating a new document. Okay, so you need to familiarize yourself with the one which you think is cool and much faster for you to go with, and you are good to go. So by clicking on new, it opens up a pop-up menu where we need to specify the name of our design, alright, and the dimension with the color mode and any other settings that pertain to our design, and getting it right and ready to work with. So we are going to give this social media flyer design. Alright, now remember to leave the color mode at RGB. The difference between CMYK and RGB is that RGB is meant for what? Digital purpose, alright, online platforms. Now our devices, mobile devices and any other electronic device that displays visual content, use RGB color mode to what? Display this visual content. And so anytime you are working on a social media artwork, remember to always leave it your primary color mode in RGB. CMYK is for printing purpose. Alright, so these are the two differences between the CMYK and RGB. Remember this difference to always know which to go with. Now with the page size, it's going to be a square dimension, so we need to change these millimeters to inches. Alright, so you simply click on a drop down arrow, choose inches, and here we are going to give this 7, and here as well 7. Remember guys, it's a square, right? So all sides are the same. Perfect. Now the resolution is going to be at 300. Always leave it at 300. Okay, the very next thing you are going to do is to go ahead and click on OK. The color settings, leave them as they are and click on OK. Alright, so this is the workspace where we are going to be working at. We are going to be placing all our design elements, positioning with all the effects we need to apply to them. So the very next thing I'm going to do is to bring in my design files, okay, my resource files or design elements, the images, the vector files, the color codes and all that. Okay, so in doing that we can use the shortcut Ctrl I, which stands for import, okay, or possibly click on this icon right here which says what? Import. Now when you click on that, it takes you to your storage. Okay, this takes you to your storage where you select the various design files that you want to use for your design. So these are the files I'm going to be using for this artwork. A link will be made available in the description so you can access them, okay, as you practice. Now with all this selected, simply go ahead and click on import, position them randomly on the workspace. Alright, very good. So the very next thing we need to do is to create a background for our design. Remember, every design work has a background. Okay, so this design as well needs a background. In doing that, we come to our tools bar, okay, the tools bar right here, and select rectangle tool. With that selected, you double click and drag to create this rectangle shape. Now remember, the page dimension we are working with is what? 7 by 7 inches. So this rectangle as well, which we want to use as our background, we need to as well specify the same dimension for it. So you come to the property bar right here, okay, and give this width 7 and the height as well 7. Very good guys. Now the very next thing you need to do is to press enter on your keyboard and P, the letter P, to center align it. Okay, you press the letter P to center align it. Now anytime you create an object, okay, by default it gives it what we refer to as an outline, or possibly called sometimes a stroke. Okay, so this stroke can be used in creating diverse effects in various types of designs. Okay, but depending on the kind of design is when you can possibly leave this stroke on your object. So per this design work, we don't want to have the stroke on this very black outline. So to take this off, you go to the property bar once again, click on this drop down arrow and choose none. Okay, choose none, and that is off. Very good. So we are going to apply a color to our background. Make sure it's selected before applying the color. All right, and please, if this is your first time on the channel, here we provide you with intensive tutorials explaining into detail step-by-step guide in working on artworks. Okay, so please don't forget to subscribe and also turn on the notification bell so you don't miss future updates. If you have any comments, suggestions, possibly let us know in the comment section and we'll do well to get back to you ASAP. Now to apply color to our background, we come back to the tools bar once again and select interactive fill tool. Okay, the very last tool right here. When you click on that, you double click on the background. By default it applies a transparency fill or gradient fill, okay, sometimes called gradient fill, of black and white. So to change these colors, you can click on the box, okay, the color box, and click on any color on the color palette right here. Okay, so we are going to be using this color called bloom. Okay, once you click on that, you can see the change it has applied to our background, which looks really nice. Okay, so the very next thing we are going to do is to create a blurry effect, okay, a kind of glowy effect on our background. By just having it this way, it doesn't really, look very nice, okay, professional. So we want to add a bit of blurry effect to it. So in doing that, you come to your tools bar once again, click on ellipse tool, okay, hold down Ctrl and double click as you drag. Now the reason why we held Ctrl is because we want to create a perfect size circle. Okay, when you don't hold down Ctrl, this is the size you are going to get, which isn't as perfect as we want. So with this created, you take off the outline. Okay, now this time we are going to be applying this magenta color to our circle. Okay, now move to effects, choose blur and choose Gaussian blur. Effects, blur, Gaussian blur. Great. Alright, so we are going to leave it at the very last end, 243.3 pixels. Okay, with that being done, you right click on it and select power clip. Okay, select power clip. Now move the arrow to the background and click once. All right, great. So this is what we have. Now we want to edit this. It doesn't really look fitted in the background. Okay, so to edit this, you select the background. There are so many options, guys. Once again, there are so many options. You can either right click, choose edit power clip, or with your background selected, choose edit right here at the top left corner. Okay, so this way it opens up the background for you to edit your power clipped object. Now we want to create a duplicate of this, so Ctrl D to duplicate. Okay, all right, our blade object is kind of heavy. This is what happens normally when you don't bitmap the blade object. Okay, so to fix this, you go over to bitmap and choose convert to bitmap. All right, you see the uncompressed file size is 61.9 megabytes. This is really going to make your work very slow. All right, so to work on that, you simply convert it to bitmap. Now we can delete this so we don't have problem with that. So I'm simply just going to make a duplicate. Now in making duplicates, we use the shortcut Ctrl D. Okay, Ctrl D in making duplicates. Well, if you have problem with the shortcut, you can possibly use Ctrl C to copy, Ctrl V to paste, then you move your object. Okay, you move your object. So we are going to make another duplicate once again and position it right here, then once again a fourth duplicate. All right, why don't I zoom in on this? Great. Now when done, you simply click on when done, you simply click on finish. Okay, to exit the power clip. Now sometimes you might want to edit the power clip without having to open it. So to do that, to select an object within the power clip, you hold down Alt, then you click on the object to select. All right, so this time we haven't opened the power clip, but yet we are able to edit objects within the power clip. All right, that is the power shortcut. Okay, so now that our background is set, okay, so we have our image behind, so you can use Control Page Up or Control X Control V to paste. All right, great. Now we have our image right here, the image of the doctor which we are going to be using. Okay, now the very next thing I want you to do is to come to your transparency tool on the tools bar, click on it once, double click and drag the very bottom. Now what this does is that the black hides and the white reveals what the parts of the object. All right, black hides and white reveals, please don't forget that. All right, great. Once again, if you are new to the channel and you find this video helpful, or so far you are learning something from this video, don't forget to subscribe. All right, give it a thumbs up and also comment your suggestions per the video. All right, now to our text. Okay, healthcare, right, nicely typed. Going to give this a color of white. I think we can reduce this image a bit. Now we need to break this text apart, so in doing that we use the shortcut Ctrl K to break text apart. Ctrl K to break text apart. Now you select all this, okay, and change the font. The font we are going to be using is this very font. Okay, great. All right, now you give this text, the current text, a contour. Okay, so back to your tools bar once again, select contour, then choose outside contour. All right, then increase the size to this a bit until you are okay with that. I think this is cool. Then Ctrl K to break it apart. Okay, now select only the contour, which is the black outer line we can see right there, and hold down shift and select health. Now you trim the aspects of the health that the contour covers. Select your contour once again, which is the black, and hit delete on your keyboard. Okay, so it trims up the parts of the healthcare it covers. All right, great. Ctrl G to group both so we don't have issue with moving them up from one side to the other. Now we want to apply an effect to this. Just leaving our text this way doesn't really look nice. Okay, so you go to the ellipse tool, double click and drag. All right, then you apply the color plumb to this, take off the outline, then apply a blurry effect to that. Okay, so Gaussian blur. This time we need to reduce this. Okay, that is a lot. It's all about the one which works best for you. All right, but you can use my settings just to get the same effects as I have. Okay, I think we can reduce this a bit. All right, okay, this looks great. Now you right click on this and choose power clip and click on the grouped text. Okay, make a duplicate, Ctrl D, and position it right here. Remember, Alt and select object within the power clip still works without having to open the power clip. All right, great. Now with your pen tool selected, we are going to be creating this shape right here. Then apply a color of this to it. You need to change this font. Okay, so we are going to be using TWSen for that. TWSen. Great, this looks all right. Okay guys, we are almost at the peak of our design. So we have this vector file which we need to extract. Okay, So to get the vector file out of the background, you go to trace bitmap, outline trace, and select line art. Bitmap, outline trace, and select line art. Once again, if this is your first time to the channel, please don't forget to subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, and also let us know in the comment section what you've learned and any comments you would like to make. Great. Now Ctrl U to separate the white part from the gray. And now we have this. The reason why we needed to take that off from the background is because we want to change the color, and it will be impossible having what the objects without being converted to a curvy object, alright, an editable object. So you select your ellipse tool, give this a color of white, take off the outline. Guys, always remember, unless you have a reason not to, alright. If there is a reason to keep it right there, that is cool. It's design, it's creativity. But if there is no reason, you want to keep your work looking very professional, so it's best you take it off. Alright, great. So we are going to power clip this vector file, svg file, to this, edit, and resize it to fit perfectly fine. Now if you have problem with resizing objects, a video as in power clip in object, how to power clip and position objects very well in another object, a video will be made available on that. Okay, finish. Okay, great. Ctrl D to make a duplicate of this. Remember, a link will be made available to all resources used for this design, alright, so you practice along and get it right. And finally, our third image of vector file, svg vector file. Okay, so we need to resize that to fit very well in the power clip. Great. Now that we are done with our svg files, the very next thing we are going to do is to create a shape right here with some details. So you go back to your rectangle tool, double click and drag, and we want to curve the edges of this rectangle. So we go to the shape tool, the second tool on the toolbar, this very edge or any of the edges. Okay, just double click and drag it in. Then we are going to apply this color to it. Remember to always take off the outline, a gradient fill of this and this. Alright, this is looking great. Now the name of this doctor Perez Clinton, right? Great. So we are going to break this apart. Control K to break this text apart. And we are going to be using a script font for doctor. You know the types of fonts, the sans serif, and script fonts. Okay, so we are going to be using a script font for this. And with this shape created, we are going to give it this very color. Take off the outline once again, and this time we want to curve only 2 of the edges. Okay, so how do we do that? We come to the property bar. Okay, so these are the very edges. This what has been selected relates to this, so we are going to type in 15 and here as well 15, and press enter on your keyboard. So you could see what has just happened, right? So 15 o'clock, don't worry about the text, we are going to fix that GMT. Okay, so we need to change this text to this. Okay, great. Now finally we need the services that are provided. So these are the services provided by our dear doctor. So we are going to paste this right here and position it right here. All right, then we bold this. Okay, can zoom in on that so we can all see. Then Control D to make a duplicate for the text services. Now with our shape tool once again, you want to space out the letters, so you click and drag this very icon. All right, and great.